You probably think you've heard it all when it comes to health advice after 65. Exercise more, eat leafy greens, drink water, stay positive. But let me ask you this. What if the quiet golden answer to better sleep, sharper memory, and less pain was hiding not in a prescription bottle, but in your spice rack? What if the body, even after 70, still has its own way of healing, and all it needs is a little help, gently stirred into warm milk? Sounds too simple, right? That's exactly what Charles thought. 82 years old, sharp as a tack for most of his life, retired librarian in New Hampshire, always organized, always thoughtful. But lately his nights had become a struggle, tossing, turning, waking up at 2 a.m. to stare at the ceiling. His joints ached in the morning, and sometimes his words came slower. He told me it felt like his body was trying to sleep but forgot how. His daughter, a nurse, brought him something that looked almost laughably humble. A teaspoon of turmeric, a pinch of black pepper, and a bit of honey. Stirred into a warm mug of milk, she called it golden milk. Charles raised an eyebrow. What is this, bedtime soup? But he drank it anyway. The first night, nothing changed. The second night, maybe a little calmer. But by the end of the week, he wasn't just sleeping. He was resting, deeply. His hands felt lighter in the morning, his thoughts more focused. And after 3 weeks, he said something I'll never forget. It feels like my body is finally forgiving me. Now let's pause right there. That's not just a feel-good story. That's elderly wisdom, the kind that whispers, not shouts. The kind that says, you don't need to chase every new trend. You just need to return to what your grandmother already knew. Turmeric contains curcumin, one of nature's most potent anti-inflammatories. In fact, a 2018 study published in the American Journal of Geriatric Psychology found that older adults who took curcumin regularly had improved memory and attention, along with less buildup of amyloid plaques. The same brain changes linked to Alzheimer's disease. But you don't need a PhD to understand what turmeric milk does. Your body tells you, inflammation, the quiet root of so many problems in senior health, joint pain, heart disease, foggy memory starts to quiet down. The nights stretch longer. The mornings arrive with less ache. And best of all, there are no side effects, no waiting rooms, no price tags, and then there's Anita, 76 years old, widowed and living alone in Ontario. Her days were fine, her spirit was strong, but every night she dreaded going to bed because she knew what was coming. The tossing, the pain in her hips, the waking up feeling more tired than when she lay down. A neighbor, much younger but wise in her own way, told her about golden milk. Anita laughed. Isn't that something yogis drink? But she tried it. 1 cup. Warm, half a teaspoon of turmeric, a pinch of black pepper, just a touch of honey, no sugar, no magic, just presence. And something changed. She didn't just fall asleep, she stayed asleep. Woke up feeling like she had slept with purpose. Within a few weeks, she had added cinnamon for warmth, sometimes a slice of ginger. She called it her nightcap of strength, and it gave her something more than sleep. That's what people forget. After 70, you're not just fighting disease, you're fighting discouragement. The sense that your best years are behind you, that your body has turned against you. But elderly reflections like Charles and Anita remind us that there's another way, a softer way, a way rooted not in fear, but in attention, in care, in the kind of small choices that build resilience brick by brick. This is more than just a recipe. This is a ritual. And rituals matter. They slow you down. They remind you that healing isn't about speed, but consistency. A warm cup held in your hand, the scent of turmeric rising with the steam, the soft hum of evening quiet around you. That's not just health, that's dignity. That's life lessons from the elderly you don't find in textbooks. So how do you make this golden drink the right way? Simple. Heat up a cup of your preferred milk, cow, almond, oat, whatever suits you. Add half a teaspoon of turmeric, just a pinch of black pepper to help your body absorb the curcumin. And if you'd like, a drizzle of raw honey or a shake of cinnamon. Stir gently, sip slowly. Let it be the last thing you do before bed. No phone, no TV, just you, the mug, and the moment. Because this is your time not just to sleep, but to heal, to restore. Before we move on to the next section, I'd love to ask you something simple. Where are you watching from? Are you in the US, the UK, Canada, maybe somewhere else entirely? Let us know in the comments. Your journey matters. Your story matters. And if this moment resonated with you, I invite you sincerely to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you never miss an episode of Elderly Reflections. Because here we believe in senior health, motivation, and inspiration, not drawn from textbooks, but from the lived wisdom of people just like you. And if you're wondering whether one warm cup can really make a difference, I'll tell you this: try it tonight, then try it again tomorrow. Let the habit form gently, and just see how your body begins to say, thank you. There's something no one tells you about growing older, that your heart doesn't just age physically, it gets tired in a different way. Not just from clogged arteries or high blood pressure, but from years of stress, grief, fear, and waiting rooms. After 70, it's not always the body that gives out first. It's the will, the motivation to keep going, day after day, especially when each day feels a little heavier than the one before. That's why turmeric milk is not just a drink, it's a small revolution. Because what it does for your heart is more than physical. It starts there, yes. Let's talk science for a second. Turmeric contains curcumin. A study in phytotherapy research showed that taking curcumin daily was as effective as aerobic exercise in improving heart health in postmenopausal women. Let that sink in. A cup of turmeric milk consistently taken offers some of the same cardiovascular benefits as exercise without breaking a sweat. Now, I'm not saying stop walking or moving, but for seniors who can't move like they used to, this is not just comforting, it's empowering. But beyond arteries and numbers, there's another heart this drink touches, the emotional one. I want to tell you about Louis, a retired jazz musician from Chicago, 79 years old. His story isn't rare, but it's real. After his wife passed, he said it felt like the rhythm of life just faded. He still played piano sometimes, but the joy was gone. Nights were the worst. It's not the loneliness, he told me, it's the emptiness. His doctor prescribed sleeping pills. They worked, but he woke up groggy, forgetful, not himself. One day his granddaughter, a holistic therapist, suggested turmeric milk. He laughed. You think yellow milk's gonna fix grief? But she made it anyway. Warm oat milk, turmeric, black pepper, honey. He drank it the next night. He asked for it again. And then again. Something shifted. Not overnight, not dramatically. But within a few weeks, Louis said he felt softer, calmer. He still missed her, but the edges weren't as sharp. His sleep was deeper, his dreams clearer, and most surprisingly, he began playing piano again. Not because he had to, because he wanted to. He said, it's like my heart remembered how to feel. And that, my friend, is why we keep talking about elderly wisdom, because sometimes healing doesn't come from fixing, it comes from feeling. From creating space inside the body and the heart to rest again. Turmeric milk helps regulate cortisol, your body's stress hormone. It supports serotonin and dopamine, the chemicals responsible for emotional balance. So when seniors drink it regularly, they don't just sleep better. They often feel lighter, more emotionally stable, more present. That's why I always say, this drink isn't just warm, it's kind. And let's not forget how often seniors struggle with restless legs, nighttime anxiety, or a racing mind. Especially for those living alone, the silence can be loud. The mind can wander into dark corners. A warm cup, rich in anti-inflammatory and mood-balancing compounds, doesn't just soothe the stomach. It tells the nervous system, you're safe now. You can let go. It's like a lullaby from the inside out. This is why elderly reflections are so powerful, because they remind us, healing isn't always about new science. Sometimes it's about old truths rediscovered at the right time. And maybe you're thinking, I already take blood pressure meds. I already drink tea. What's one more thing gonna do? I'll tell you, turmeric milk isn't about adding more. It's about replacing less helpful habits. That late night snack that spikes your sugar, that glass of wine that disturbs your sleep, that pill that knocks you out but leaves you groggy. This is different. It works with your body, not against it. It supports senior health by honoring your rhythms, not numbing them. So if your heart feels tired, not just from clogged arteries, but from the weight of life itself, if your mind feels like it's always one step behind your emotions, give this golden drink a chance. Let it be your nightly signal that the day is done, that you did enough, and that now you rest. Not in defeat, in peace. This is what life lessons from the elderly keep telling us. The small things, done with care, can carry us farther than the grandest plans ever could. Before we dive into the final chapter, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Tell me in the comments. Are you in California, England, the Midwest, the Mediterranean? It means something to share where we are, especially as we grow older. And if this story stirred something in you, a memory, a curiosity, maybe even a bit of hope, Please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's next here on Elderly Reflections. Because this isn't just content, this is community. This is motivation, inspiration, and the kind of truth that only comes with time. There's a moment late in the evening, sometime after the phone has stopped ringing, the news has faded, and the house falls quiet. But through stiffness in the knees, pressure behind the eyes, or that familiar ache that travels quietly through the spine, it's the body's way of saying, I've carried you today. Now help me recover. And that's where turmeric milk does its deepest work, in that fragile space between effort and rest where healing either begins or gets postponed for yet another night. You see, after 70, inflammation becomes a silent battle. You don't always notice it right away. It's not dramatic like a broken bone or sudden fever. It creeps in, makes you slower to get out of bed, leaves your fingers a little more swollen, your thoughts a little less sharp. It's inflammation that keeps your joints tender, your sleep disrupted, your memory fogged. But curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, one of the most studied natural anti-inflammatories in the world. Multiple clinical trials, including one from the Journal of Clinical Psychopharmacology, show that it not only reduces inflammation in the body, but also supports mood regulation and neuroprotection. In other words, it fights pain and brain decline, two of the most critical threats to senior health. Now let me share with you the story of Eleanor, 86 years old, lived alone in a little town just outside of Portland. For years, she depended on her cane, her morning medication, and eventually her daughter, who checked in every day. Eleanor wasn't helpless, but she was stuck. Afraid to move too much in the evening because her knees would swell. Afraid to sleep too deeply because she'd wake up disoriented. Most of all, afraid she was starting to slip away. Slowly, quietly, in a way no one would notice until it was too late. Then one day during a casual visit, her granddaughter, a young woman in her 30s studying integrative medicine, brought her a small mason jar. This is turmeric and pepper, she said. Try this in warm milk before bed. Every night, just a pinch. Give it a week, Eleanor laughed, skeptical but curious. That night she drank it, and the next. What happened wasn't dramatic. It was slow, gentle, subtle. But by the end of that second week, she noticed her knees didn't throb when she got up to use the bathroom at 3 a.m. She didn't need the hallway light. She wasn't dizzy. The fear started to fade, and in its place, confidence, strength, a quiet return of independence. She said to me, I'm not young again, but I feel more like myself. And that's what this golden drink offers. Not youth, but stability. Not a cure, but comfort. And sometimes that's the very thing that gives people their life back. See, turmeric milk works best when it becomes part of a nightly ritual. Something that signals to the body you are safe now. Turn down the lights, turn off the noise. Warm your milk, stir with care, sip slowly. No phone, no multitasking, just presence. That is elderly wisdom in action, the power of stillness. The kind of healing that doesn't come from a pharmacy, but from a habit rooted in respect. And let me be clear, this isn't just about turmeric. It's about how you treat your body at night. After 65, what you do in the final hour of your day can have more impact than what you do all day long. Because that's when the body repairs itself. That's when the brain detoxifies, clears out the fog, resets memory. And if you flood it with processed snacks, stress hormones, or screen light, it can't do that job. But when you give it warmth, nutrients, and quiet, you're not just aging, you're aging well, with grace, with motivation, with choice. That's what makes this drink such a powerful ally in the lives of people over 70. It doesn't demand much, just a little intention, and it gives so much in return. Better sleep, clearer thoughts, calmer emotions, stronger mornings. These are not small things, these are everything. Because when you sleep better, you move better. When you think clearer, you speak with more confidence. When you feel calm, you connect better with others. This is how life lessons from the elderly are lived, one evening at a time. So if you're listening to this and thinking, maybe it's too late for me, I want you to hear this clearly. It's not. Whether you're 60 or 90, your body still wants to heal. Your heart still wants peace. And your life, no matter what chapter you're in, still matters. And sometimes the road back to strength begins not with effort, but with gentleness. Now, before we close, I want to invite you truly to be part of this community here on Elderly Reflections. If this video moved you, if it reminded you of your own story or someone you love, please take a second to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss a new reflection. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Your voice adds richness to this space, and every story matters. Because here, we don't just talk about senior health. We honor it. We don't just share advice, we share inspiration. We learn from each other, we grow from each other. And together we remind the world that growing older isn't a fading out. It's a deepening in to wisdom, to kindness, to stillness, and to the small golden habits that help us rise stronger, one quiet night at a time.